Hey everyone, let's jump in right in and let's speed paint a lizard man. If you would focus, thank you very much. There we go. As you can see, I've already put blue liner on him. It's just 9066 blue liner. Normally lots of people use brown, but I decided to use blue today. Now I've already painted this with the blue liner and let it dry. So it's a bit of a cheaty thing, but anyway, we're going to jump right in. I'm going to start in with olive green, and I've already pre-shook these up, and I am just going to be using a ceramic palette today, except this is jammed up. I'm going to try to do this video with as few edits as possible, and so maybe a few more drops. Put that to the side, just to show that this is all done almost real time. Thought about trying to do a YouTube, get my position right here, get that out of the way so it's not focusing on it. A YouTube live stream, but not yet. I'm not sure that would be as much fun, especially since I wouldn't be able to edit out all my coughs and any interruptions, things like that. So, this might be a bit boring for a while. And I'm not using a wet palette because I actually kind of want the paint to dry while I'm painting it. Yeah, it's not going to be that great, but he is being painted up for a rapid gaming session, for example. And I honestly have no idea how long this will really take. But we're not going to get into... I'm painting him completely off the screen. I should maybe use a bigger brush. Get that wet first, because this is his base coat, so we don't really have to get too particular with where we're putting the paint. But yeah, I kind of want the paint to dry on the palette, and this is just me personal preference. I found the paint, once I put it on, dries a lot faster if it's already started to dry on the palette. Now obviously that's not going to be good for showcase painting or normally anything of high quality. And I'm not even worrying about where the paint's going really. I have wondered here. Kind of looks like he has gloves on, but I'm just going to paint it like he has little fingers there, and it's just scales on his hand that we're actually looking at. And kind of one reason I picked blue too, the blue liner, is I figured it would kind of shade the green a little bit and provide some shadows, since I'm not going to be able to, well, I don't intend to put a lot of work into this. Sip of water. And who knows, maybe I'll leave the coughing in. Give a good idea of exactly how long it took. Of course, I think most of the edits, when I do them, are pretty seamless, but maybe not. So how you been? If you're new to my channel, or catching this much after when I put it up, I had a large gap in videos. Unfortunately, sometimes real life takes precedence over painting, hobby stuff. I've been really busy at work for about 3 months. Yeah, it's just the way it is sometimes. But I got like 3 new subscribers the last 2 weeks, and I was like, well, okay, I should really put up some new content. Yeah, I know these don't get watched by a whole lot of people, but one of the reasons I even started the channel was just so I feel guilty when I don't paint. And you know, that really works until you really can't paint, and then you really feel guilty for a long time. Nearly out of paint here. I did sit down and kind of write out a little plan of what I wanted to paint when, and I really wanted to paint everything all at once of one color. I want to say I've got a hair in there. Okay. And meaning all at once, I mean like his entire front, so I don't have to go back over it again, like when I find little dark spots here and there. Which, of course, looks like I'll have to anyway. And I don't want anything to pool, because that's just going to increase the drying time. Okay, give him one more good looking at before I switch colors. Maybe a bit more in his armpit. Oh yeah, arm right there needs some. Make sure you can see it. But make sure his face is all fully painted here. And I'm going to go over that left leg one more, well, his right, our left. Just because when I first painted it, the paint was a little thin. So it just didn't cover very well. The same with his neck. Ooh, top of his arm again. Oh, shoot, I completely forgot that hand over here. I think he's holding a little handle there, so we'll get that in a bit. And the back of his hand's going to be hard. We have to flip underneath his tail and get it that way. Oh, and back of his leg. Okay. sure I get his arm in there. Okay, so there's water. Pick my clean water and my dirty water here. Okay, so now that we've got him a nice little base coat there, 10 minutes in. Now we're going to switch over to Shield Brown. Come on, focus. There you go. I'll just rotate my palette here so I can get a new spot to drop some paint. And I think I will continue to use the big brush. Ooh, wait. Before I forget. Paint the top of the paint bottle. Before I have a chance to even start. We'll do that one too. Just a little handy tip to see what colors you actually painted with. Alright, somewhere on Reaper's form I picked that one up. But let's see here. Move that off. And I'm going to do his turtle shield in Shield Brown, funnily enough. And like I said, I do have a little plan of which colors to paint and when. So, you know, this isn't just me going out and grabbing colors from a box randomly. Oh, I suppose we could. And of course I could use fire to speed things up as well. And I think what I'll do is I'll switch brushes here, because I would really like to get in there. I don't think the paint, in fact I'm going to wipe some of that off. So I can get in a little tighter there. And let's make sure we get around this edge here. Let's see that. Just the top of the turtle shell right there. And all the way around. Underneath where no one will see it. Ever, ever, ever. Go. Would like just a little bit more in there. Okay, so I'm going to let that start to dry. I think we've got everything we can. I saw a spot right there. I didn't clean up any mold lines on this, by the way, either. So next we're going to use that same Shield Brown to do the club. And I'm going to switch back to the bigger brush. Small brush is my Raphael 8404, I think size 2.0 head, and then the Winsor Newton 2.0, or not 2.0, but just 2. My two go-to brushes, both of which probably should be retired. I think they're getting a little split on the hairs a bit. And I do have a plan here to make these two colors distinct from each other. I hate it when I find a little dot like that. Well, no, I'm going to leave that on his hand here. See if we'll focus. Are you going to focus for all the nice people? There we go. that little dot right on his middle finger. I was going to paint that in, but decided it can stay. Which, of course, kind of easy to do because it was painted blue to begin with. I've got that little hair sticking up on there. Probably can't see that. So I'm rotating the brush to keep that hair out from anything I don't want painted. But anyway, going back, yeah, I've got plans to make the club and this turtle shell look different from each other. I'm just getting all around where I can see that I've missed little black places here and there. I guess it's not black, it's blue, isn't it? And he's got little black dots on the end of his fingers here, but I'm going to leave that too. Maybe it'll be something. Oh, yeah, he's going to have to look nice from 3 feet away, so not that concerned about it. Okay, our next one is I'm going to go in with some stone gray. Rotate my palette again. And this one coming out of the bottle was really very thick. Which at the top. So that's actually okay for me. And we're just going to paint the base here. I may not even try to get that fully covered because that may add some texture and interest in the stones itself. But I'm going to come back and do more to the base anyway. Oh, there's some really nice little black, blue shadows right there. And I'm going to keep those, so I'm not going to paint too heavily on them. So it looks like little holes in the rock. Okay, switch to the small brush again. So, kind of wipe it off on the base itself, and then just kind of push in between his toes. So it looks like he's actually got toes. And what else I need in here? Maybe a little bit paint underneath that. Yeah, I think that's good. Wash the brush off here. So now I'm going to switch to a third brush. This is my cheap fabric, or not fabric, craft store basic brush. Yeah, it kind of looks like that. And all it looks like that. And what I did is I just took a pair of scissors and cut that off. Figure why waste a good brush on dry brushing, and we can just use this. So I'm going to use Faded Khaki, and we're going to dry brush his skin just a little bit. Except I do need the big brush. Paint on top. Okay. So, since I will probably mess this up, let's start on his tail first. I'll try to throw this up here, at least for this way, because this isn't porous or anything, so actually I probably should bring that over. It's not showing up as much as I would like. But that might be okay too. And, I'm not worrying about brushing over the other stuff I've already done, because there is a plan. I think it's focusing on the palette again, so let me just, now that I've shown you kind of what I'm doing here, I'm going to just him. If I could put him on screen, right? One of the reasons I like the cheap brush for that is I can just pound it really hard and not worry about getting a good brush. Oh, is that a skull? It is a skull. Okay, change of plans. We may have to paint that. I think I'm almost done with dry brushing the skin here. It's almost too much dry brushing, but oh well. And by that I mean it's kind of taken over all the green. I did not mean to paint that. Can I recover it? Yep, there we go. Just a little water on it and brushed it off. Let's see how. I don't want to brush them anymore with anything wet. So, kind of want to get inside that surface here. And on his shoulder a bit more. Another hair. Okay. So, after dry brushing his skin, we are 24 minutes in. I go with some pure black. That, yep. And I just need a little tiny bit for right now. It's already painted on top. And taking my smudge, go in, putting 2 dots for his eyes. Just kind of filling in the whole cavity here. I do have, like I said, plans. But that's good enough. He's looking forward. Okay. Now, going into some buckskin pale. If you would focus. There we go. I'll move the palette around in between colors so I don't confuse which color is what. And this one was really thin coming out of the bottle. So that's not exactly what I was hoping for. But we deal with what we deal. So I am going to paint all of his leather equipment here. I didn't think about the sword there. Darn. We'll think of something for that. But for now, I'm on leather. In case this is the first time I've ever really tried to speed paint anything. Don't normally game. Don't game at all. Shouldn't say normally. Never really had the time. Okay. I am going to paint his little backpack thing here. This is maybe a poor choice of color, but we're going to go with it because that was the plan. And I missed a step. Yeah, oh well. We'll get it in. I knew I should have rewrote the plans in order. I was going to paint the arrows that khaki brown. In fact, since we're here, and it's still on the palette, probably still wet, I'm just going to load up quite a bit. Oh, it's not coming out right. Too wet. Too much of a match too. So I'm going to dip into the dark shield brown. I'll just go over it with that instead. Not part of the plan, but it is now. The colors kind of mixed up there. So back into the buckskin. Would it like at least like a good coat on that. Okay, and he's got some stuff in there. Okay, and front here. Let's try to make that on on the shield that color too. Okay. I noticed I did get a little bit on the shoulder there. Let's try this. Taking my pen, just kind of scraping that back. Call that good. Okay. And then get the back of that little hangy down piece. Now would that happen to be leather too? It is now. Which of course would make sense, I guess. Really off-centered here, but get the back one more time, pretty decent. Leave those little dots. The top of the knife, or whatever it is. I think I know what I'll do there. Get the most of it. Think so. Get that a little bit more. Edges are good. That's not good there. Okay. Wash the brush off. Drink the water. Okay. So now, my little chores of things to do, I'm going to dry brush the shield with that same buckskin tail. Bounce my thing across the, that would be a brush. Bounce the brush across the mat. Get him in a good position. Yeah, I think that's good. And let's see, after that, the next thing I had planned is we're gonna do a little bit of that buckskin again. We're gonna put it in his eyes right there. Kind of make like a reptilian eye. Really, it's more of a cat eye, I suppose. If I can get his here really close, wash the brush off. In case you're wondering, the camera's upside down when I paint, so kind of hard to see which direction I really want it to go. You can't see if you can see the eyes or not. There we go, kind of got it there. One eye. And the second eye there. Will you focus? No, you will not. Okay, enough of that. So, arrows already did. And what I was going to do here was wash that with brown. But if it's already washed with brown, it's not going to work. Or it's base coated with brown. So I'm going to go back into the pure black. Just one drop there. Eyedropper with, well, let's do 2 drops of water there. Normally I would do this in a little pan, but time is of the essence. And I'm going to get my brush really wet before I dip it in there slightly. And we'll just wash the club. Normally I could add some, I would add future floor wax to here as a breaking up medium, but not today. Should I do it to the shield too? No, I want that separate. We're going to keep that that way. But yeah. Let's go with my last thought here. Going back into that shield brown. I'm going to make a wash out of it too. So just 1 drop of it should be fine. Eyedropper. 2 drops of water there. And it kind of water up, and I think I'm just going to let it sit that way. But take that in there. Let's wash the stone. And let's just do the back here of a foot. See if I like that. Maybe the shield. Yeah, I'm going to run the shield over with just a light coat of the wash. I am not going to do his skin. I think I'm happy with that, but I think we will do all the leathers we painted. Oh, and then the skull heads. Yeah. Might have time for 2 washes. Get too far up. Camera's in a different position every time I paint. So I have to learn it every time. Back here. Oh, we didn't finish the base, did we? A little bit more on the shield. Check the base one more time. Okay. So, now this will take a little bit of time. I'm going to go to my little map here. I've got all the Reaper colors. Let's go with Bone Shadow 9058. It'll be... It's very dark. Let's go with polished bone instead. Yep. So, polished bone. Okay. There you go. I can't remember if I've used this lately, so it probably needs a little bit of shaking. But that's all I'm going to do. Little drop, little brush, and too much paint. And that looks really, really stark. But that's okay. And then I'm going to paint the handle too. That probably is a thigh bone. So I guess that works. At least it kind of looks like a thigh bone to me. Zoom in on that. Got a little bump there. I don't think I mentioned. I was going to mention, and I forgot. It's almost said drawing number. It's not a drawing. The figure I'm actually painting, 77155. That's its bones number. And I want to say that the metallic version of this is 03705. So now let's see what we can do with that. I'm going to go into my black wash. Normally we'd wait for all this to dry, but we're in a hurry, so just a little touch there, not brushing it so it doesn't brush off the paint. And then we'll do the same thing here. And he bled. Ah! So just suck that up. And make it a little dirty on this front. Move it down that way too. Yeah, sure, that was... we meant... So, see if I can clean that up just a little bit so it looks more like shadow than anything. And I'm calling it. Here we go. Looks like 43 minutes on my clock. I don't think I'll edit it too much, but we have a lizard man ready for the clear coat and the game table. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.